Welcome back to another podcast episode. So today I'm going to be talking about a lot of different topics kind of put into one episode. So I want to be talking about my jigsaw puzzle analogy when it comes to friendships and relationships. I want to talk about validation. I want to talk about seeing people at face value, when to romanticize things and when not to, and just a load of different things. So I'm going to get straight into it. Okay, so I want to talk about the jigsaw puzzle analogy. So where I found this is one of my favourite comedians, Daniel Sloss. It was from his show, I'm pretty sure is called Jigsaw. He basically talks about how when he was young, he kind of asked his dad what the meaning of life was. And his dad gave a really good analogy in a way of each of us has a jigsaw puzzle and parts of the jigsaw puzzle make up you. So your hobbies, your job, your interests, your family, and sort of the centerpiece is kind of what's supposed to make you feel whole. And what Daniel Sloss was saying is the one thing that my dad messed up on is he said that centerpiece was supposed to be your relationship, your partner, the person you're supposed to fall in love with. And he said it kind of taught him a toxic mindset of if you don't have a partner, your jigsaw won't be whole. And then he goes on to kind of explaining how everyone wants to complete their jigsaw puzzle. So they will they'll basically smash people into the jigsaw, pieces that do not fit, and they will make it fit when it's really not supposed to. And I really like that analogy, and I think it works for relationships and friendships. I feel like a lot of the time we just want to complete our puzzle. Once it's completed, it will make us feel whole. And right now we don't feel whole. We don't feel like our life is put together until it's completed. So what we'll do is we'll just ram these friends into our puzzle and these relationships into our puzzle and potentially even a job, just because you need friends, you need a job, and you need a relationship. Society's way of teaching us has become a little bit toxic, and even at the ages of 15, 16, people are trying to finish their jigsaw puzzle in a big rush. And I really like the analogy because it just shows you how we just do not need to rush. And I love watching shows like Friends, for example, where it shows them all the way up to age 35 before they really start having kids and settling down and stuff. And some of them don't even do that. So it's just nice to ground you and remind you that you don't have to have everything figured out by the age of, for me, 20, 21. We're so young and we've got so much time. And a big inspiration is people that have changed their careers through the years. Even my mum, she's changed her careers maybe 3 times now. She's just changed it recently and she's coming up to 50. So it just shows that we have so much time and you can do what you want. It's okay if you take one direction and it doesn't work and then you get redirected somewhere else. That's the meaning of life. It's supposed to happen. Just because your jigsaw might take a bit longer to fill than someone else's doesn't mean you're not worthy of anything. And I think comparison is the worst thing you can do, because no matter how much you compare and try and copy someone's life, if it's not meant for you, you're not going to get it and you're not going to get ultimate happiness with that. And I just like the jigsaw analogy because it's yes, we're all trying to work on our own jigsaw, but it doesn't need to be complete in that sense. And there's no time limit on when it's going to be complete. You could die tomorrow, and I don't think life's purpose is to finish the jigsaw. It's just to find happiness along the way. And I think the analogy of what Daniel was saying about ramming people into your puzzle is so true. We really do put up with certain friends and put up with certain relationships just because we like the fact that we have friends, we have a relationship, we like the attention, and we like the idea of that we have that bit of our life sorted. When in reality, you're way worse off if your jigsaw is all matched pieces, but there's someone else over there that's missing pieces, but they're content and they're peaceful and they're happy. I would rather miss pieces than have the wrong ones in. And I think it's just a real eye-opener to realise why am I forcing certain connections with people if they do not fit? That can take a lot of strength to realise that though, because the reason that we crave kind of companionship with friends, relationships, is a lot of the time because we need validation. And we can need validation for a number of different things. It can be parental issues, it can be self-worth issues, it can be abandonment issues. It can be so many different things as to why we crave and feel the societal need to have that close-knitted circle and that close best friend and that boyfriend, that girlfriend, and sometimes that just does not fit for you, and that is okay. And you've got to unwind and figure out, like, why do I feel the need to have these people around me? Is it this validation? So as I say with anything when it comes to healing, you have to go back to the beginning. Why do you crave this certain person's presence? Where does that come from? For me, I craved a lot of my friends and people's attention because I wanted to feel heard. I wanted to feel understood. And if I look back at maybe my growing up and my childhood, there's bits where I didn't feel heard and understood. So now I crave it in my adult life. So I used to keep people around me just to feel like safe and wanted and loved. But sometimes I'd keep the wrong people around, which would give me negative energy or would, change me or bring my self-worth down or, go over my boundaries. And time again, you forgive because you want them to fit in your jigsaw puzzle and be there. But it's taken me years to realise that I'm much better off without all of that stress and to genuinely only keep in my life what fits in my puzzle. Sometimes that's hard to figure out. Sometimes it can take years to figure out who's supposed to be where and what job and all of this, and I completely get that. But I do think sometimes it's important to sit back and think, this person isn't really fitting my lifestyle, isn't really on the same wavelength as me, isn't the same energy as me. They maybe give quite negative energy, and maybe they're just a little bit immature, and you're maturing at a faster rate. It doesn't mean you're on a high horse and you're better than them. No, they could turn out to be a better person than you. They're just not quite there yet. But in your own healing and in your own development, do you want those type of people in your jigsaw, or are they holding you back from completing another piece of yours? So I think it's really important that we put ourselves first and we think, these people aren't matching my energy, they're not fitting into my lifestyle, and they're not helping me grow, they're not helping me to be the best version of myself. Therefore, I'm going to stop jamming them in my jigsaw and realise that they don't fit. Maybe one day they'll fit, but as of now, they're not fitting. And once you throw those pieces away, you'll realise that other bits of your puzzle start to grow quicker. So this brings me on to my next point about romanticizing, and when to and when not to. And when not to is definitely people. Romanticizing people is a very dangerous game. When we realise that we really seek that validation or seek the companionship or whatever it is, we're ramming this person into our jigsaw puzzle. A lot of the time we do that and we don't realise is because we've romanticized someone. We've put them on a pedestal where they, to us, seem like the perfect fit for the jigsaw, and no one can tell you otherwise. It's not until you take them off the pedestal and really are self-aware will you realise that that person isn't as good as you've made them out to be. And this can also happen with you as well. Like, there might be people in my life that have put me on a pedestal and thought I was the best person, and then I've let them down in certain ways. It's important to take people at face value. What they give you is what they give you, and you need to really write those things down. I feel like I've met lots of people in my life where I've given them the benefit of the doubt, and I've been like, oh, well, they're great, they do this and this and this, and I try and push the bad stuff under the carpet. I'll kind of shut myself away if there's any bad things going on, because I don't want anyone else in my life to turn against that person, because I really want that person to fit in my jigsaw puzzle. So I will just never focus on the bad things, and I'll never tell anyone about the bad things. And that can be really dangerous, because now I'm in my delusional state of mind where this person is almost like God. It's like a savior, and you should never worship someone in that way, and you should never be obsessed or attached in that way where someone has a power over you, where no matter what wrong things they can do to you, you'll forgive and forgive again because you're trying to make them fit into your puzzle. You think this is the perfect picture, they have to be in it because it leads to this, when in reality, if you just take that puzzle out, you'll realise how insignificant that piece was and really did not match. It is really dangerous romanticizing people though, because you have to be careful, because you can go one or two ways. You can romanticize them to the max and they might not be a nice person, or you can take them off the pedestal and then start to hate them, and that's not fair either. Something to remember is, although there is some horrible people in the world, sometimes we have to remember that we are all human. And when you initially take someone off the pedestal, you may start to resent them and be like, actually, they did X, Y, Z, like, how did I not see that? But then you have to also realise, well, let me not forget the true good. And what's hard is there's 3 categories. There's the bad, the true good and the romanticized good. And it's almost like you need to write these things down. And this is where you really need like a journal or a notes page, because if you say this to the person, it's going to like mess everything up. So you need to understand exactly how you feel about a group, a person, a thing before you vocalize it. So writing down these 3 sections of the romanticized good, the general good and the bad. The romanticized good you just need to like tear up and throw in the bin, because none of that exists. None of it's really real. The genuine good, where it's like genuine acts of kindness and good things and things that other people would agree is a nice deed, that you keep. Special things about that person and what they can offer to you and help you with. The bad you can write. The bad you write down and be honest. Don't forget things, but don't be overly critical either. And then start to weigh the pros and cons and realise, is this person fitting into your lifestyle? Is there more goods than bad? There's another thing I learned in therapy, which is you can genuinely get addicted to someone from the highs and the lows. When the highs are really good, they're really good. But when the lows are low, they're really low and destructive. And people around you might not be aware of that. That constant state of high, low creates an addiction to someone, and it's really dangerous because the real bad lows are so overridden by the high highs. It's almost like a drug. It's a state of euphoria, and the high highs is the romanticized good, and that's not like the genuine good that they've given. It's what you like that they do for you, not genuinely good things about the person. And this is where there's so many fine lines and grey areas where it can all get mixed up. So you really need to understand your brain. You want to get rid of all the romanticized good, and you don't want to be overly critical, but you need to analyze the bad things and then start to take someone off the pedestal and realize either, no, they are a genuine good person, I'm just being a bit over the top, let's like bring them back down to here. Or they're actually not that nice. They've actually done quite a few mean things. Why am I putting up with this? And it's okay to do that, and it's okay to be a bit cringed and pissed off at yourself. And as I said in my last episode, like, you have to grieve the past version of yourself. What you tolerate now might not have been what you tolerated back then. So it's okay when you come to this realization of taking these certain friends or whoever off the pedestal and realizing, why did I do that? Why did I let them treat me like that? That's okay, but then it's up to you to draw a line under that and move on and realize what type of people you want in your life, what type of people you want to put in your jigsaw, because you've learned, and that's the whole human experience, is to learn. Everything I've ever been through, I've been grateful because it's just taught me what I want now and what I expect and what type of person I am, what I need to improve on, ready for next time. I'm grateful for everything. It is dangerous putting not just relationships but groups of friends as well on that pedestal, and being a bit of like a pushover and forgiving because you're blinded by this validation of, if it's a friendship group, maybe to be liked, to be included, and if it's a relationship, to be loved, to be protected. And you've really got to understand the deep root of, well, why do you feel like that, and why do you need other people to make you feel whole, and why are you using other people that aren't good for you to fill that hole? There's 2 things. 1, using the wrong people to fill the hole, but 2, just using genuine, like, good people or the right people to fill the hole. That sounds mad. No one should be giving you the validation that you're seeking. You should be able to find that within, and the more you realise that you do get it from other people and rely on it from other people, you're in the danger zone there. You really need to take a step back from your jigsaw, maybe the social element of your jigsaw, and spend some time alone and really find out who you are inside, and can you be alone and be content with it. At first it will be so uncomfortable, it might be lonely, it might be a bit traumatic, but it is so important that everyone just takes that minute to just breathe and really think about what type of life you want. And then when you put yourself back in the social situations, you know exactly what you're looking for. And maybe it might take you a while, but you'll know what to tolerate and you'll learn quicker. Whereas when you're in this sort of delusional state of mind where you're craving this like validation and you're romanticizing every other person just because you want people around you, then you're really in a danger zone and you need to break out of that. Another thing I want to talk about is what you put, the amount of energy and effort you put into something and what you actually get back. This goes for anything. If you're putting your effort and energy and attention into a specific thing, that is what is going to manifest itself. So for example, if you are constantly putting your energy and effort into negative thinking, consuming negative content, sad things, and you're in a bit of a sad loop, then you're going to manifest that and you're going to get negative energy back out of that. I'm definitely guilty of that. I've 100% in the last, like a couple years ago, would sit there, feel sad, go through sad TikToks, watch sad things, listen to maybe sad music, and just think in a sad state of mind, and constantly that would rotate and I'd feel stuck. I feel like I couldn't get out of it. And obviously it's taken a lot of hard therapy. It's not just like it fixes overnight. But now I am so focused on positive thinking. The more positive and grateful thoughts I have, the more I get back. And I always talk about the blessings you'll get if you do shift your mindset, and that is true. But I think it goes for anything. Like anything you put effort into will return. If you're putting effort into negative people, you're just going to get negativity back. Whereas if you change that and put effort into good people with pure intentions, you're going to get more out of it. And I see this where if I hang out a couple years ago, maybe if I hung out with maybe more negative people and draining people, I'd come home feeling drained. Whereas when I went and hung out with the most like positive people, I come back feeling so wholesome and so good about myself and fulfilled. And it's true, if you surround yourself with the right people, you should always come home feeling fulfilled. If you're ever coming home from a friendship group, a job, a relationship, feeling dissatisfied and low, then they're not the right people. They're not fulfilling you with what you should be felt with. And it's true, I think the more you chase, the more power someone may have after you. And it's important to learn the art of detachment. The fact that you can step back and you don't need to chase after someone and constantly ask for an answer. This I was talking about with my friend the other day, because I'm very much, I don't chase anymore because I spent years doing it. I used to be someone that if someone ignored me, wouldn't tell me why they were upset, it used to really, really trigger me. And I would chase after the person, I'd bombard them with messages, I would try and meet up and I'd try and make amends, but like, what have I done? And eventually, like, you'd get nowhere, or they'd turn around and it was something really small, or they made a mistake, or it could have been handled in such a different way. And I've had that countless times of that sort of silent treatment or mind games, and I will not chase anymore because it's just not worth it. It is not worth my energy and time, because I know I'm not going to get anything positive back out of it. Whereas good things and good energies I get, I will put effort in. If I've upset a genuine good person, I will chase and make amends. But when someone is playing mind games with you, it's important to learn the art of detachment and to just go, I'm not going to give them the satisfaction they want of chasing. And this is the exact same thing with money. Now, money is a really big topic that I could do a whole podcast about, but I think the more you chase it, the more power it has over you. And while money is such an important thing, and there's the debate of does money buy you happiness, and I've always said no, but as I've got older, I've realised I understand why people say yes. I still don't know if I 100% think yes, just because like I found happiness in so many other ways that are free. But that's my personal experience. I'm having to remember that everyone has such a different experience and upbringing as well, that money can mean entirely different thing to them than it does to me. Money obviously pays for me to go travelling, which obviously brings me happiness. But I don't know, because then when I'm travelling and I'm just sat on a beach that's completely free, that brings me the happiness. But then there's the debate of, well, how did I get there? So I don't know. Money is a big topic. But I did see something the other day, and it was like the more energy you're putting into money, like the more power it has over you. And I'm not saying don't hustle. Hustle 100%, build your empire, but the goal should be to be successful and to have an empire and to have a good job, not the money, not the actual bit of paper. And I feel like this generation is so obsessed over the specific bit of money rather than what money can give them, that it has so much power over them. And it goes for people as well. The more that you chase and the more obsessed you are with someone, the more power that person will then have over you and your feelings. Just very important that we all learn that we are all temporary, that we could die tomorrow, and nothing in this world should have power over us. We all should have ambitions and goals 100%, but nothing should control our feelings and our emotions in that way. I saw a post as well on Instagram that was like, what society says success is. lots of money, big house, nice car, lots of followers, multiple partners, outer appearances. What I think success is: optimal health, finding love, committed relationships, family, time to be silly, doing what you love, faith, finding joy, inner peace. I agree with that. I understand it's easier said than done, but it is true. I think the whole Instagram of having lots of followers in the car and flexing all this lifestyle, I really do not like, because I think where I found the most peace and love is through nature and through family and genuine connections, and being grateful that I'm healthy. And it's the small things, and maybe it's taken me to hit rock bottom to realise what is more important in life. But I do think it's sad watching what people are chasing after rather than the grand scheme of what to be grateful for. And I feel like we get so caught up in that world that we don't take a step back and just think like, I'm alive today, and that's that. I think living in the present is very important. I think having goals is so good. Like for me, of course, I would like more money to travel, to invest into my businesses and to really go all out, of course, but the goal isn't the money. The money will help me reach the ambition that's in my head. And I just do think it's important that we learn the art of detachment and realise what and who is having so much power over you and why. Why is that such a thing? Why are you chasing it so much? And really analyse each section and just always ask why. I think that's, in summary, my final question is, with everything in life, just always ask why. Why do I feel like this? Why is this upsetting me? Why do I crave this? Why am I so obsessed with this? And why am I like this? If you've got bad traits, why do I do this to people? And just constantly asking the question of why, or why did they do this to me, it is going to make you so self-aware. And I think once you're self-aware of yourself and others, you'll be fine, and you'll find true peace, and everything will make sense. I don't know if any of those topics were relatable to anyone, but if they were, then please engage and let me know. And I'm going to end it here, so thank you for watching.